He was our quiet shadow, a constant, silent presence watching over us. We never imagined that one night, his silent devotion would be the only thing standing between our family and the flames. He saved our lives and it cost him his. This is the story of Leo, a tuxedo cat whose final moments were his greatest act of love. It's a heartbreaking story, yes, but it's also a powerful reminder that the deepest bonds are often unspoken, and that heroes truly do come in the most unexpected forms, sometimes covered in fur and armed with nothing but courage. In a quiet suburban home on a street lined with old oak trees, lived the Miller family. Sarah, her husband Tom, and their 7-year-old daughter Lily. And of course there was Leo. Leo was their handsome tuxedo cat, and he carried himself with a quiet dignity that was almost human. He wasn't the type of cat to meow for attention or weave between your ankles. He was an observer, a silent presence in the corner of the room, his intelligent green eyes following the family's every move. Tuxedo cats are often described by their owners as being incredibly perceptive and loyal, and Leo was no exception. For the Millers, he was just their constant. He was Sarah's furry paperweight as she worked from home and Tom's audience during late-night TV. For Lily, he was her most trusted confidant, the keeper of countless childhood secrets whispered into a velvety ear. Leo had his routines. He'd follow Lily to the door every morning as she left for school and would be perched on the windowsill, like a guard on duty, when her bus returned. At night he made his rounds. He'd check on Lily, a soft thud as he landed on her floor, a moment of stillness, and then he would pad silently to Sarah and Tom's room to settle in a chair in the corner. He was their self-appointed night watchman. They felt his presence more than they saw it, a comforting beat in the rhythm of their lives, never realizing that his watchful nature was a protective instinct that was about to be put to the ultimate test. The night it all happened began like any other. The house settled into that deep, comfortable silence that feels completely safe. True to form, Leo completed his nightly patrol. He looked in on a sleeping Lily, then made his way to his usual post in his owner's bedroom. The house was still. The world was asleep, but deep inside the garage, something was terribly wrong. An old frayed wire began to smolder, the silent, insidious start to a catastrophe. There was no warning, just a tiny growing heat that soon caught a wooden stud, and a small hungry flame was born. It licked at the drywall, slow at first, then grew bolder, devouring the unseen space between the walls. Smoke thick and black began to pour into the garage. Crucially, the hallway leading into the house didn't have a smoke alarm. It was an oversight that would have proven fatal. The smoke, now a dense fog, found the gap under the door and began its silent invasion. It crept along the floor, a dark predator moving through the home. While the deadliest gas, carbon monoxide, is odorless, the smoke itself carried a faint, acrid smell. The family slept on, unaware of the danger, but one member of the family was not asleep. From his chair, Leo's head lifted. His ears twitched. His nose began to work, deciphering the strange scent that was tainting the air. A primal panic seized the little cat. The smell was wrong. It was the smell of danger. He leaped from his chair, his usual composure gone, replaced by a desperate urgency. He ran to the bedroom door, sniffing at the crack. The scent was stronger there. Every instinct screamed that his family was in grave peril. His first attempt to wake them was a loud, guttural meow, a sound Sarah and Tom had rarely ever heard. In his sleep, Tom just mumbled and rolled over. It wasn't enough. The smoke was getting thicker, a haze now visible in the moonlight. Leo grew more frantic. This is where stories of other hero cats become starkly real. There are many verified accounts of cats going to extraordinary lengths, pawing, scratching, and even biting their owners to wake them during a fire. Leo began doing just that. He jumped onto the bed, a frantic ball of energy. He pawed at Sarah's face, his claws in, but his intent firm. She swatted him away in her sleep. He moved to Tom, meowing directly into his ear, a shrill, desperate cry. He ran back and forth across them, a living alarm bell fueled by love and terror. Finally, something broke through the fog of sleep. Sarah coughed, a deep, hacking sound that jolted her awake. She opened her eyes to a nightmare. The room was shrouded in a disorienting haze. The smell was suffocating. "Tom! Tom, wake up!" She screamed, her voice choked with panic. Tom's eyes shot open, and the horrifying reality crashed down on them. The house was on fire. Chaos erupted. Sarah's first thought was Lily. Lily! she shrieked, scrambling from the bed. As they stumbled towards the door, choking on the smoke, Leo darted ahead of them. He ran a few feet down the hallway, away from the garage where the fire was raging, then looked back, meowing insistently. He hadn't just woken them, he was guiding them. They followed him, their minds reeling in the thick, blinding curtain of smoke. Heat was already radiating through the walls. When they reached Lily's room, Leo was already there, circling her bed. Tom scooped up his daughter, who was just starting to stir, coughing and crying. "This way!" Tom yelled, his voice raw. They moved through the house, not towards the front door near the fire, but toward the back patio, following the small black and white figure darting ahead. Leo seemed to know the safest path, the one with the clearest air. He led them right to the glass patio doors, looking back to make sure they were behind him. Tom fumbled with the lock, his hands shaking, while Sarah held Lily tight. The door slid open and they burst into the cool, clean night air, collapsing onto the grass, gasping for breath. They were alive. They were safe. The night filled with the scream of sirens. Neighbors poured out of their houses, staring as flames punched through the roof of the garage. As the adrenaline began to fade, a gut-wrenching realization hit Sarah. "Where's Leo?" She scanned the lawn, her eyes darting wildly. "Leo! Here, kitty, kitty!" she cried, her voice cracking. But there was no sign of their little guardian. A firefighter approached them, his face grim. "Is everyone out?" he asked. "Yes," Tom managed to say. "But our cat Leo isn't here. He saved us. He woke us up." The firefighter's expression softened with a sad understanding. "We'll do our best, sir. Stay back here." The family could only watch, helpless, as the team battled the blaze consuming their home, their hearts pounding with a terrible shared dread. Nearly an hour later, the fire chief walked over to them. The flames were out, leaving a smoldering blackened shell. His face said everything. "I'm so sorry," he said gently. "We found him. He was in the hallway near your bedrooms. It looks like, after he led you out, he went back in. Maybe he got disoriented by the smoke, or maybe he was looking for you. He didn't suffer." The words hung in the air, devastating and yet profoundly heroic. Leo hadn't used his last moments to flee. He used them to sound the alarm, to guide his family, to make sure they were safe. His very last act was one of pure, selfless love. He gave his life for theirs. In the days that followed, as the Millers sifted through the wreckage, the story of Leo spread. He wasn't just a cat who died in a fire, he was a hero. His story spoke to that incredible, mysterious bond we share with our animals. He was their quiet shadow, their silent guardian, and in the end, their savior. They lost their home, but Leo made sure they didn't lose each other. His memory isn't one of tragedy, but of immense gratitude and awe. He is an inspiring tale, a tuxedo cat whose final loving act will be remembered forever. The world is full of animal heroes whose bravery often goes unnoticed. If you have a story of a pet who changed your life, we would be honored if you shared it in the comments below. And for more inspiring tales of courage and companionship, please subscribe to the channel.